Okay, welcome back. We are back with video 4 of the series, The Pause That Actually Moves You Forward. And this is my series, Your Business Isn't Dead, You're Just Dysregulated. Okay, and I do apologize. I had a crazy thing happen with my mother. She's still in the hospital. She had to have multiple surgeries because she has a very rare bone disease called myocephalitis, I think it's called. And it basically is it's an infection of the bone that actually causes infections, and they had to go in, they had to clean out a cyst that had formed, and then they had to cut out part of the bone and all this infection. And then on top of that, she got a staph infection. So it's been kind of a wild day, or last couple of days. Last couple of weeks. So I haven't been on here, but I want to continue the series. But my mother, thankfully, is going to be okay. She is 82, so it's very dangerous to do surgery on an 82-year-old woman. And she's going to be moved to a facility where they're going to do long-term rehab on her for 4 to 6 weeks. So if you could send prayers, I appreciate it. But, okay. So the ADHD brain hates pause. And I mean, genuinely, right? Viscerally, physically, we hate it. And it's because our brains feel like the pause means we're quitting, and it feels like we're falling behind, but it feels like everyone else out there is building and growing and winning while you're still sitting doing absolutely nothing. And so we resist that naturally with everything we have. So we keep moving, we keep pushing, we keep launching, and we keep crashing. And so today I want to show you why the pause is not the opposite of progress. The pause is the thing that makes real progress possible. So we're in video 4 of this series. And in this video 1, we talked about what a major life blow does to a neurodivergent brain. In video 2, we named the 3 stages of ADHD shutdown, which is the freeze, the chaos, and the false starts. And in video 3, we talked about why regulation has to come before rebuilding, and why every relaunch from a dysregulated state makes the hole even deeper. So today we're going to talk about the pause. What it actually is, why your brain fights it, and what it looks like to do it in a way that actually moves you forward, okay? So here's why the pause feels so impossible for the neurodivergent brain specifically. Our brains are dopamine driven, right? We are wired for novelty, momentum, and forward motion. Stillness does not just feel uncomfortable for us. It feels like it's actually like a threatening thing, like neurologically. So when we stop moving, our brain interprets that as we're falling behind, we're losing, we're being left out. And because our emotional regulation is already thinner than average, that feeling does not stay as a background hum. It actually becomes a full body alarm. So on top of that, on top of the fact, that most ADHD entrepreneurs have spent their entire lives being told they're too much, they're too scattered, they're too inconsistent, we have an internalized message that we have to work twice as hard just to keep up. So stopping, even intentionally, even strategically, triggers every shame spiral that we have ever had about not being enough. So then there's this external pressure, right? So we've got bills, we've got a business to run, we got to deal with the IRS. Oh God, I'm dealing with that right now. Just have to get my taxes done because I'm behind, but it's just so it just compiles, you know what I'm saying? Your business needs revenue though, and then you can pay the IRS, right? Oh God. So you've got an audience that has not heard from you in weeks. So the idea of pausing feels like a luxury you cannot afford. But here's the truth. You cannot afford not to pause, because the alternative, continuing to relaunch from dysregulation, continuing to cycle through freeze and chaos and false starts, is actually costing you more time, more energy, more confidence than any intentional pause ever would. So let me redefine the pause for you, because I think most people have the wrong picture in their head. The pause is not doing nothing. The pause is not disappearing from your business. The pause is not giving up. The pause is a deliberate, time-bounded period where you stop trying to grow and you start doing specific work of stabilizing. So you're not offline. You are doing the most important work of your entrepreneurial life. You are rebuilding the nervous system that your entire business runs on. So in practice, that pause looks like this. You get ruthlessly honest about what it is that's actually sustainable right now versus what you think you should be doing. Because if we just do what we think we should be doing, we'll be running around like a chicken with our head cut off over and over and over again. And again, I've been through this. This is why I teach this stuff, because it destroyed my life for far too long, or controlled my life for far too long. So you strip down your to-do list down to the absolute minimum. You identify 1 to 2 things that keep the lights on, and you do only those 2 things max for a defined period of time. So you stop consuming new information and you start integrating what you already know. You get your body regulated through whatever tools work for you. So that includes, movement, breath work, time in nature, bilateral stimulation. I'm trying to develop, it's going to be a minute, but I'm working on developing some specific binaural beats, music that has certain frequencies that actually calm the brain down and immediately put the brain in a calm state. It's probably going to be a couple more months, but you can actually download some music, like actually for free, I think, on like Spotify and things. But you want to give yourself a specific end date so that the pause has a container and does not become an indefinite stall. The last part is critical for your brain. We need a container. So an open-ended pause becomes paralysis. Okay. So we want to have a cold, hard end date. A defined pause becomes a strategy. So I'm going to offer you a reframe that has changed everything for me personally. And the pause is not falling behind. The pause is lapping everyone who refuses to take it. Think about ADHD entrepreneurs, who are stuck in like a freeze chaos crash cycle. They look busy. They look like they're grinding, but they're not moving forward. They're not making sales. They're just moving. I have a friend like this that, in business that, she got super stagnant and couldn't figure it out. It was because she was in that cycle for so long. And then she almost just completely gave up and threw the towel in until like I kind of coached her on some stuff and she was able to come out of that. But 6 months from now, you're like, she was still in the same place, or 6 months back when I coached her, she was still in the same place. And she was actually even more exhausted and even more defeated. And so an entrepreneur who takes an intentional pause, does the regulation work, and then launches from a stable nervous system, not behind. And you're going to have to close loops in your life. I'm dealing with a legal situation right now with this psychotic individual, and I have to, I know in my head, we have court on the 29th, and I need that loop closed so I can fully move forward. This person is insane, and I won't go into it right now. I will save the Netflix story life for a later date. But I know for even my mentorship in business has told me you need that loop closed, whatever that looks like. And so on the 29th, regardless of what happens, whatever the outcome is, I'm closing that loop. And I will continue to pursue legal action against this individual because this individual has committed multiple crimes against me and probably others. I'm guessing if this person's done it to me, they've done it to others for sure. But I will not let this consume my life anymore because it has absolutely consumed my life for far too long. So, but I'm just saying, if you can get closure, if you can get loops closed, do it, because it's very important, especially for the ADHD brain. So I've seen this over and over again. The ones who are willing to pause and then regulate don't just come back. They come back different. They come back more focused. They come back more decisive. They come back more resilient. I will say something I've learned from this situation is that other situations in my life that I thought were bad are nothing compared to this. I had some beef with a girl way back in the day, and, just unrightfully so. She judged me off things that she didn't even know about me, and she was a fake friend and all this kind of stuff. And I will tell you, I had a lot of anger for many years over that, and I would never close that loop. And this situation with this individual that I've never even met, that has broken into my house, has stalked me, hacked me, stolen from me, harassed my children, has started a corporation in my name with my social security number, started a Shopify store, all this stuff, this crazy stuff, like I said, that I'm going to do a video on in the future. It has actually caused me to literally realize that situation was nothing. I was like, oh, I forgive her. Like it's easy for me now because I'm like, she at least sort of had a reason. because she's so, like, we were quasi friends. We were we're face to face with one another. Do you see what I'm saying? This person I've never even met in real life. This person was from a online Discord group that became obsessed with me and then would gaslight me and change the narrative and all this kind of stuff, and then sexually harass me. And when I finally put a boundary up and said, stop it, I'm done, he didn't like that. But he'd already been in my phone. He'd already been reading my text messages. And and he had read a message where I had voiced my disgust with this person. And so he decided he was going to break into my house and rob me. And I would not even know, because again, he knew everything. He knew my garage door was broken at the time. He knew everything, and I won't get into it right now. That's going to be a special show when I debut I'm waiting on my condenser, but I've got my new Shure microphone coming soon. But I've literally been told by 6 people I should sell the story to Netflix because it's that crazy. So we'll see what happens, but it's a wild story for you guys. I'm going to also be broadcasting it on my other channel because that's more to the group of people that this person was part of. So, but my point is, you want to rebuild from a capacity to run the business, right? So this is the exact sequence inside my Pause, Regulate, and Launch course. And it's an 8-module course that leads you through how to launch your business in 60 days or less with a strategic framework with all the worksheets, but it keeps you, it kind of works from the back to the front. It's like, that's how our brains work. So that's how I designed it. So we start with the pause, not as a concept, but as a practice. And I walk you through exactly how to structure it, how long to make it, what to do during it, and how to know when you're ready to move in the regulation phase. So, because without the pause, the structure, without the structure, and the pause, it just becomes another freeze. And the pause with the right structure becomes the foundation of everything. So in the next video, the final video in the series, we're going to talk about what the comeback launch actually looks like, and when it comes from a regulated nervous system. So, and I promise you, it looks nothing like the launches that you've been forcing from dysregulation. It's a cleaner, faster process, and it actually sticks. And so here's what I want you to do right now. Okay. Not tomorrow, right now. I want you to ask yourself one question. Have I actually paused since that thing knocked me down, that happened, right? Not crashed, not frozen, not disappeared into Netflix, my Netflix movie. I mean, intentionally, like strategically and on purpose, have you paused with a plan and a container and a defined end date? That's the key. If the answer is no, this is your next step. Not a new funnel, not a new offer. You need a new content, you don't need a new content strategy. It's a real pause. So I challenge you today to do these things that I have mentioned in here. And I'm going to see you in that final video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.